The AK74U or the MAC-10, which one should you be using inside Warzone? This video is going to break down the stats for both of these guns, comparing them to let you know which one is the best. We're usually one of the first channels to release stats on the new weapons, so if you do enjoy watching weapon stat breakdowns, weapon comparisons, and anything related to Cold War and Season 1 of Warzone, subscribe to the channel. The MAC-10 along with the DMR has taken over Warzone, but can the AK74U stack up to the MAC-10? Most of us already know that the AK74U deals much more damage than any other SMG in the game, but how does this affect the time to kill? On the screen now you'll see the stats for both the MAC-10, which is on the left, and the AK74U, which is on the right, and we can see that the headshot damage for the MAC-10 goes from 40 to 32 to 32, then the body shot damage goes from 25 to 20 to 19, but you can see the AK74U has much higher damage because the headshot damage is 56, 40, 31, then 35, 25, 20. The damage profile for the AK74U is ridiculously good because if you land a single headshot within your gunfight, you're going to reduce the number of shots it takes to kill significantly and therefore reducing your time to kill. At close range, it's going to take 10 shots to kill with a MAC-10 and it's going to take 8 shots to kill with the AK74U. Now the rate of fire for the MAC-10 is 1,118 rounds per minute, and the rate of fire for the AK74U is 720 rounds per minute, which is much faster than what's stated inside the Cold War multiplayer. Now of course you can see on the screen what this means for our time to kill values. At close range, the MAC-10 has a time to kill of 483 milliseconds. This then drops off to 644 milliseconds and then drops off again to 698 milliseconds. For the AK74U, the close range time to kill is 583 milliseconds, drops off down to 750 milliseconds, and then drops off again to 1000 milliseconds. You can also see where these time to kill values drop off. So the first time to kill value goes from 0 to 15 meters for the MAC-10, and then the second damage drop off point is from 15 to 22, and anything after 22 meters is going to be 698 milliseconds or above. Similarly, you can see the same thing happen with the AK74U. The first damage drop-off point is between 0 and 10 meters, and then between 10 and 20 meters, and after that it's going to be 20 plus meters. These damage drop-off values are not 100% accurate. We were doing all of our testing with moving bots, so it's really hard to get an exact damage drop-off value, but if we were able to test in a private lobby, we could get something more accurate than this, but this is all we were able to test. Moving on to some of our handling stats now, you can see the base aim down sight speed for the MAC-10 is 167 milliseconds, which is extremely fast. It's one of the fastest aim down sight times in the game. And you can see the AK74U is not too far behind at 200 milliseconds. The magazine sizes for both of the base guns are slightly different. You've got a magazine size of 32 for the MAC-10 and 30 for the AK74U. I don't think this is so significant because the MAC-10 fires much faster, so you're going to go through bullets much quicker with the MAC-10 anyway. The reload time for both guns is pretty quick, but the MAC-10 comes out on top by 0.6 seconds. Lastly, our bullet velocity values were tested at 570 meters, and what this means is that we've got a bullet velocity value of 356 meters per second for the MAC-10 and 590 meters per second for the AK74U. The AK74U has one of the fastest bullet velocities out of all of the SMGs inside Warzone, and not only that, inside the Cold War multiplayer as well. It's probably one of the main reasons why a lot of people like using this gun, because they know their bullets are going to connect very well with the AK74U. If you're talking about raw time to kill, and if you're only landing body shots, then the MAC-10 is definitely going to be the better gun here. If you are able to land a couple of headshots, the AK74U is going to do better than the MAC-10. So it really comes down to how confident you are at landing headshots, and if you can land headshots, you should go for the AK74U. Before we get into the recoil charts, I do just want to point out one quick thing regarding the iron sights for both of these guns. If you're using the MAC-10, the iron sights are pretty clean, but you definitely need that gallantry blueprint from the battle pass to make it the best possible. The AK74U has pretty good iron sights too, which is very important for an SMG, but what is missing is the integrated suppressor iron sights, which I really liked from the multiplayer, and I wish they brought that over into Warzone, but I have a feeling they're just going to make it into a blueprint. So like I said, the AK74U can reduce its time to kill significantly if you're landing headshots. It's going to come down to how accurate you can be with either one of these guns. In green, you can see the AK74U, in blue, you can see the MAC-10, and this is the recoil chart for both guns at a 12-meter distance. Now, of course, you can make both of these guns much more accurate by adding attachments, but we're only comparing the base weapons for this video. Now, in terms of the AK74U, it has a really accurate recoil pattern even for the base weapon. This is so easy to control. When you are considering attachments for the AK74U, you might not need an attachment like the Field Agent foregrip, for example, because the recoil is very easy to manage. Whereas on the MAC-10, there is a lot of horizontal bounce with this gun. Not only that, the recoil pattern is more like in an S shape, so it's very important you do use something like the Field Agent grip to control that recoil as much as possible. After looking at that recoil chart and thinking back to the damage profile of the AK74U, not only is it very easy to control the recoil, but if you let the recoil do its thing, it's actually going to land you a lot of headshots. And what that means is you can reduce the time to kill of the AK74U very easily by just learning the recoil pattern of the gun. As always, the last thing we need to consider with these SMGs is the hipfire accuracy. Of course, hipfiring with an SMG is very important. You might open up a gunfight whilst hipfiring, or you might hipfire halfway through a gunfight. But it is a very useful game mechanic to use, and you should be making the most of it by adding on a 5mm laser to both of these guns. But what we're going to show you is the base hipfire accuracy. So again, you can see the AK74U in green and the MAC-10 in blue. This was taken at a 4-meter distance from this wall, and what you can see is that both of these guns are extremely accurate. And I found it very difficult to find a distinguishable difference between these two hipfire charts. So both are very good options in my opinion. Yes, if you take a look at them pixel by pixel and try to break it down, one might be slightly better than the other, but both guns are great for hipfire. This was done without any attachments, so if you added on a 5mm laser, you'd get it to be even more accurate than what you saw on screen. But one thing that is extremely important is not to trust the crosshairs on your screen. That is not going to show you the hipfire accuracy for the Cold War weapons. Everyone doing their testing right now has used the crosshairs, and that is not the accurate way to test this. You will need to fire it at a wall to figure out what the hipfire accuracy actually is. In my opinion, the average player is mainly going to aim for the chest and try and get kills that way. That's what most players do, and that is why the MAC-10 is the most popular SMG in the game just now, because without landing any headshots, the MAC-10 is definitely the fastest killing SMG. But if you like to be rewarded for accuracy and precision, and you do land a lot of headshots, then go for the AK74U is definitely a great option as well. And overall, if you're still very confused after watching this video, just go for the MAC-10, everyone's using it. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, leave us a like as it helps us get recommended more. If you're new to the channel, subscribe as we want to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and we're going to be comparing a lot more weapons in future videos, and we do have a live stream planned later on this week. Thank you very much for watching.